Hi guys and welcome to Angling For You, and today you join us on the 24-hour catch with a little bit of a difference. There's a little bit of meaning behind it, but also it's a lot harder than last time. I'm just going to show the old phone. We've just crept on to 6 PM on the first day. It's Sunday, what day are we on? 25th, and we've got till 6 o'clock tomorrow on Monday. So I'm a bit knackered because I just ran from the car to be here for 6 o'clock. We're ready to start, but we're technically not. Everything's in the car, so we're still starting at 6 because we need to be off by 6 tomorrow. But we're going to still have an hour to set up also.
Yeah. So yeah, we've literally just arrived. We are fishing on the River Wharfe. We are in Ulleskelf, and it's particularly meaningful is this session.
Yeah.
Some of you will have seen on the group that I posted a week or so since about a good friend of mine, Mark. This is his property. His family live here, and yeah, Mark unfortunately passed away. His family have been good enough to allow us to continue fishing, which is great, because for me this is by far one of my favourite areas to come and fish. It's, well, I've told loads of people, this is my happy place. I can come here and just be totally chilled, totally relaxed. I love fishing here. It always fishes pretty good. Yeah. You know, I've had loads of good sessions on here.
Secure as well, isn't it?
It's secure, yeah, it's nice. It's not a wide stretch of river, and the other good thing about it is it's fairly deep, and the River Wharfe, a lot of stretches around here, it becomes unfishable when the river levels start to drop. So yeah, we're really quite fortunate and really grateful to Mark previously, and obviously to his family right now. So yeah, this session really is kind of dedicated to Mark. I'm hoping that he's looking down on us and will send us a little bit of good luck.
If you're watching, Mark, up there, get it. We want some barbel.
Yeah. So the idea behind the challenge then, we'd tossed around a few ideas, haven't we, really, around what we're going to do this year. And I think
last year, I'll say first, and Matt's going to tell you, last year we had to have a the year before, a £5 barbel or bigger from the river, a £5 pike from a canal or bigger, and a double figure carp from a commercial. I'm not going to spoil it if you've not watched that, but that was between us, so it didn't matter if only one of us caught it. This one's a little bit different.
Yeah. So we thought this time around, because we did want to kind of dedicate it to Mark, we were going to do it all here. We're not going to travel anywhere else, no other venues involved, it's all going to be done here on the River Wharfe in Ulleskelf. So we kind of thought, how can we make a bit of a challenge element to it? And historically, I've caught barbel out of here, I've caught pike out of here, and I've caught silvers out of here. So it made sense for us to actually do those three things. So what we're going to try and do between us is we're going to try and have 5 barbel off this stretch. We're going to try and have 5 pike off this stretch, and we're going to try and do 20 pound of silvers between us. So there are...
No joke that, mate, is it?
No, it's one, and we'd kind of toyed about whether it were achievable or not, and it is on a good day.
Yeah.
But being realistic, you know, we'll have done well if we complete this challenge.
We're going to have to fish sensible, aren't we?
Yeah.
I mean, if we fish for silvers and the pike turn up, we're going to have to try and catch the pike. When it's dark or near dark, we're going to have to try for barbel.
Yep.
It's just going to be watercraft in it and just hope for best in between that.
Yeah. So it's a lovely little stretch down here. I'm sure there'll be some footage a little bit later on of both of us pegs and just how the river looks and whatnot. But what we want to do is get started. I don't know if you can see, but we have...
Here's a magic coin.
A £2 coin. There are only 2 pegs on
So let's say, well, you got heads and tails.
Yep.
So this is tails, that one's heads.
Right.
So we both want heads, most of the time.
So which one's which then?
So tails, heads. I'll let you...
Tails, you'll get this. Heads.
Well, I'll let you call it. I'll let you call it. So whatever you get on the thing is what you have.
Right, okay.
So tails, heads.
Yeah, I'd suggest how we do it is whoever gets it right gets the bottom peg. Because generally, the downstream peg does produce more fish. It's not always the case. We have had some sessions where the upstream peg has produced more fish. But yeah, so you can call it, and if you get it right, you've got the bottom peg.
12 hours on both.
We could. It's an option.
No, let's not.
Too much hassle moving the gear. Right.
So am I calling?
You're calling, yeah.
Tails.
It's heads.
So I'm on here.
There we go for the camera.
Heads it is.
Heads.
So Matt is on the bottom, I'm on the top, which actually I'm not that bothered about. It does look really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's in a nice little steady flow for trotting down.
Yep.
And precarious casting dark, but doable casting dark. Yep. It does look good, doesn't it?
It does, mate. Yeah.
And it is tidal, isn't it, as well? So we may get a bit of rain. It is a bit overcast. So if we get rain farther up, we might get that putting through, mightn't we?
Yeah, we've got low air pressure, and actually the forecast has been a lot worse for today than what it has been. Earlier on in the week, they were forecasting rain, thunderstorms, lightning, etc. for today. Touch wood. Touch wood. It's been a good day so far, and the forecast has improved. We're not expecting for there to be any bad weather overnight, but who knows? And it'd be unfortunate if we did get thunder and lightning. Generally speaking, it does have an effect on the quality of the fishing. So yeah, let's just keep us fingers crossed and hope that we stay nice and dry and catch a few fish.
And mate,
good luck.
It's a team challenge, so whatever's my catch is Matt's catch and vice versa. We're desperate to try and do the best we can possibly do. We know that the barbel and the pike's going to be definitely hard. We're pretty strong and thought we could do well on silvers if we can get them feeding. We've learned a little bit of lessons about feeding on them, so fingers crossed. We'll do that. So join us on both pegs. We'll go through all the gear that we've got once we've got it all set up, which will probably be about 7:30. Maybe 8 o'clock in your case. So we'll see you soon.
Yeah.
Right, guys. So we're just getting the stuff set up. Barbel's going to be the first species. Tomorrow's going to be the older waggler and stuff like that. But I've got the waggler out because I just want to have a little quick talk about it. And I say it's obviously not a waggler, it's a trotting stick float, but this is a really important thing to me. A little bit emotional in some senses, and I thought it'd be fitting to do on this session. And it's my granddad's centre pin, and actually the rod, as you can see it's massive, is what he's built, a cane rod, which makes it a little bit difficult, something I'm not really that experienced on. But it's probably not been fished for 50 years. I've put some new line on it, and it's something I'm really looking forward to fishing with in the morning tomorrow. So I'm going to jump back and get the rest of the barbel gear out, and we'll have a little look at it tomorrow and see how we get on. Right, guys, Matt's into the first barbel of the session. Not too long, Matt.
We've been in the water at least an hour, I would have said. So this one I caught on a maggot feeder, using a maggot clip with probably 8 to 10 maggots on the clip, on a fairly small hook. It's a size 14 coral hook that I'm using. Don't like to go too big on here. The average stamp of fish on here is generally between 4 and 6 pound. But last couple of sessions that I've had on here, it has produced some slightly bigger fish to around sort of 8 poundish.
Just behind you.
This does feel like a good fish. She is, just saw the first sign of her. Does look to be maybe 7 or maybe 8 pound at first glance.
Oh yeah, good fish, mate, good fish.
Still very lively.
Oh, lovely fish. There is a fair few sites, mate, that is better than a barbel under the surface, is there?
No, it's nice. But there's no mistaking a barbel when you get a run.
See that coral and maggot feeder?
Yeah.
It's hanging off the tip.
Not quite ready just yet. There we go.
Beautiful, mate, beautiful.
Net.
Right, Right, so Matt's just going to bring the fish up. He's going to do it a little bit. He's rested it for a good 10 minutes, which is a really good thing to do with barbel as they give their all. But he's also going to show you some unhooking as well. Just get it nice and close.
So yeah, just to explain exactly what happened once I landed this fish, because this fish has been rested literally from the second that we'd got it on the bank. It still had the hook in its mouth, and that's because I choose to just take it off. It's just a standard hook length that attaches to the Corum quick release bait and bolt and run kits that are really handy. So for me, it's much more important to let the fish have a really good rest rather than getting it out on the bank and unhooking it. Whoops, it's a little bit slippy where I'm stood, but yeah, there you go, there's the fish. So we're going to get this fish back in the water. That's barbel number 1 for our session. Good start to it.
Only 4 more to go, mate.
Yeah, 4 more to go. I'll just quickly talk to you about this. So I find these really useful. This is a quick release system. So you just push that in, give it a little twist, and it locks into place. And they are absolutely rock solid. But these are brilliant for when you want to quickly just take your landing net off. Great little bit of kit. But right, let's get this fish back in, because that has to be our priority here. So yeah, as we say, it's been rested for a good 10 minutes or so. It's kicking about in the net, looking as though he wants to go. Just see if we can gently ease him out. Give you a shot of him going. There he goes. Beautiful. After that.
Right, we've got Matt down here. He's got something on. Don't think it's a barbel. Oh, it might be, Matt. Yeah. You have to bear with us, guys, with the filming. We're having to film on the phones at night because, obviously, it's pitch black. So, a little bit of an update. We're about 10:30. Matt's had 1 barbel, lost 1 barbel, so it smashed him up. And then this is potentially another one, Matt.
Yeah, perhaps.
It came out nice and steady, didn't it?
It did.
So maybe it just...
If it is a barbel, I'd be very surprised if it's a decent size.
But it's a barbel, son.
Yeah.
So it counts.
Yeah.
If it is a barbel.
It seems to have a little bit more spirit than a chub might do.
Have you got access to your net?
Yeah.
Are you alright with all that?
Yeah, I'm all good.
Matt's a seasoned pro with all this, so... I'm just going to try and put my light over the top. Bib. Bloody mosquitoes are everywhere tonight. And I'm very attracted to these lights.
I didn't get a glimpse, but I think it is a barbel.
With this.
Yep.
Oh, we need it. We're leaning on Matt tonight for the barbel because he's in the peg. Oh, is he netted?
He's in the net.
Oh, beautiful, son. That's 2. That's 2 of the 5.
Very quickly release the feeder.
A nice little soft bite, that one. It wasn't what we'd class as a ferocious barbel bite. We're just going to leave him in here and we'll catch up with him in a sec. Right, guys, so I'm just going to get him out of the net. Only a smaller boy this time.
So yeah, just as we did the last one, it's still got the hook in. Gently prise the hook out of him. There we go. Where's the rest of the hook length? So that's the quick change hook length that I'll just put to one side.
Beautiful little fish.
Yep, and we'll get that back in the river as soon as we can.
Right guys, so Matt's into another. We don't know where it is. Just had to reel his other rod in. Like I said, when it comes to this challenge, we're all on Matt. This is the peg to be. And hopefully this will be number 3 in the net, and only put us 2 shy of what we need. We really do need to try and get all the barbel through tonight, so fingers crossed. Although pike is probably going to be the hardest part of the challenge, Matt.
Yeah, it is, mate. This one's currently taking a lunge for the trees that's over the other side. And it is particularly snaggy over there, unfortunately.
I did nearly fall backwards for the second time off my chair, trying to get out there. Just a little bit aside now. I did end up backwards in a bush earlier on, trying to stand up. Not seeing it yet.
Not sure.
What does it feel like?
Feels maybe £5-ish, perhaps. Sometimes deceiving out of these little ones.
So just for in case you can't hear, because obviously Matt's away from the camera, he says it feels around £5-ish. The good thing is at the moment, with the river being so low, Matt can just sit down on the edge of the peg, because it's a good 3 foot, 4 foot down to the peg. But sometimes this total bottom's completely underwater, depending on what time. Picked up a little bit of roughage, hasn't it, with it?
Yeah, it has. Got the high beam on.
Well, I saw a little glimpse of it.
So this one has been caught on a pellet feeder.
Oh, so there's a pellet feeder, this one?
Well, it's a cage feeder with pellets in it, actually.
Oh, so it's like your little mix, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, what's left of it, because he did make a lovely mix up and then forget it. But to be fair, we had a lot of gear to bring, didn't we?
We did.
And you were straight at it out this early on for a bloody hell. Actually, that's a decent fish. That's more than £5, that, Matt.
Yeah, it looks nice, that.
Yeah. Honestly, if you've never barbel fished on a river, there is nothing better, is there, Matt?
No.
There is no better fight, no better sight than seeing a barbel underwater. It is incredible.
Pound for pound, they've got to be.
Hardest fighting.
Yeah, UK's hardest fighting.
In a for a coarse fish. Oh, that is a lovely clipper, and he's not done yet.
I messed it up.
It's not done yet.
He's that low.
Oh yes, son. So that's 3 out of the 5 in the net. We'll catch up with him in a couple of seconds once we've unhooked him.
Right, so it's just gone 11:30 in the evening. This is barbel number 3. Definitely the biggest barbel of the evening. Just had it resting for a good 10 minutes or so. I would hazard a guess that is somewhere between £7 and £8.
Lovely fish, that one, mate.
Ooh.
Lively.
See, it's got plenty of life back in it.
That's why those slings are so important.
So there we go. Right, we're going to get that back in the water straight away.
Right guys, we've got barbel number 4. That's had quite a busy night. He's had a few, and he's had a few missed fish as well. He's bring us ever closer to that target. Mixed one, someone pellet, someone on the old maggot. But for me, unfortunately, I've had a 0 in regards to barbel or runs. But it's team challenge, so as long as we're getting them in, well done, mate. That's number 4.
Fish number 4, yeah.
She's definitely closer than we thought we're probably going to get with it, so happy days. Let's get him up and have a look.
Not the biggest barbel ever.
But still,
Fish number 4.
still a lovely fish. And it's about 4 o'clock now, so still got a little bit of time to try and sneak that number 5. Let's get him back. Right guys, you join me in the morning. I'm going to be a bit quiet because it's about 6 o'clock. And we're going to start a little bit of trotting. Now, challenge so far, as you'll have seen, Matt's done really well through the night and had 4 barbel. Me, not a sniff, but to be honest, it's not the favoured peg for barbel. No excuses. I've done everything I could to try and put it in the right area. Just nothing whatsoever. So we're going to start on some silvers today. unfortunately Matt's lost 2 or 3 as well, so we could have had the 5. But you know what the barbel are like. As soon as they York them, they're gone. So, like I said before, this is quite a special piece of kit to me. It's a 13-foot handmade cane rod, which is my granddad's, or my late granddad's, should I say, who sort of not been with us for the best part of 10 years now. It's something I've always wanted to do, and I thought, we're honouring Mark today, and what better than to bring it out of 50 years of retirement, put some new line on it and give it a go. So it's not the easiest thing, as you'd imagine. It's not what you'd call ideal from nowadays standards, but it's not what it's about. Got a lovely little centre pin reel on there, £5 Maxima, and a £2 uplink. We'll go into the rig a little bit later on. Size 20 Drennan hook. I've got a nice simple little Drennan stick float, and it's 8 number 4s, so it takes a bit of shot. We're just going to trot it down. I'm going to do a little bit first, just sort of get it going, see if we can have a few fish, and then we'll have a little talk in detail. I'll try and sit down on my awful chair, which is knackered, without it collapsing on me, hopefully. So it's a bit of a unique thing to fish with, is a centre pin reel. It's obviously something that I don't do a lot of. Got to remember to trap the centre pin when you're putting your bait on, and got to keep net obviously for the challenge of £20 between us both. Hopefully we can get near that. I'm going to start with a couple of maggots, and I know you can't see too well from here, but like I say, let's just see if we can have a few fish, and then we'll have a look a bit later on. Now in this trough it's about 8 foot, and what I'm going to do is I'm not going to fish 8 foot, fish about 4 foot, and see how we get on. Now the rod to the left of me is my little barbel rod, and just because I'm only allowed 2 rods on my licence, I've got 1 barbel rod out and 1 stick float. It's just trotting through over there, just using the line to just hold the float back. I'll let it trot through and just gently flicking the centre pin. Can't believe it's 50-year-old, but it's so smooth still. We'll start on the inside line. There's a bit of debris actually. There's a little bit of fast inside flow. That's where I'm going first. If we don't know joy, then that's when I'll push out a little bit further. But the tide's changing and going back out. This is a tidal wharf, so it is pacey for now. No touches as of yet, but it's early morning. I've got plenty of time today. So I'm just loose feeding a little pinch of casters upstream. a nice little bit of fighting fish now, right at the end of the swim. That might be a perch, this one. Don't hear that little roach. But he definitely pulled back, he did. It's a thing in the river. Even the smaller fish pull a little bit more. What I did then is just take off a couple of foot worth of depth of a little roach, put in the keep net. I took a couple of foot off there to hook that one. That was right at the end of the swim, that one.
So Ben's been fishing the stick blow, and yeah, his swim just suddenly went dead. Next thing Ben saw a bit of splashing around his keep net, spotted a pike. So we've just dropped the bait out in front of the pike, and sure enough, it's had it within the space of 30 seconds. I've got my welly bobs on, I'd get down there. Well, mate.
Right, I will get the net. I knew I'd seen him. Try not to kick his maggots in. That's all we got. I'll get the 4 steps.
The cradle is already wet, and we always make sure that it's wet before you put the fish in.
So Matt's it's just unhooked him. He's quite a lively boy, so I'm going to get him back. About 4 pounds, 4 pounds.
Yeah.
Something like that. They do look a lot bigger in the water, don't they?
They do.
So Matt's going to put him back, as you can see, like a really nice large net, rubber net. This is a proper pike net, a snapper net, but as you can see, it's quite a precariously large peg. You can see him swim off beautifully there. Is there something about rivers, isn't there, that when they swim off, everything looks better, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Right, so that's number 1 of 5. Whether we're going to catch 5, I don't know. Good fish, this mate. Last one. In that river. Oops. That's on that bait, static dead bait, that. Well, when we drop this fishing.
Yeah.
Good fish. Yep, nothing like that, mate.
No.
So much different on a river, aren't there?
Yeah. Yeah, they've certainly got more beams to them than a lake short time.
Oh, when I keep looking down your left edge. When I've looked twice down that left edge to look behind you. Level now. Oh. Got a thick head on him. Not ready yet though, I don't think.
Probably easier to net him like that, pretty fair, mate, if you're bringing him in that way.
Got him?
Yep.
Oof, well
Good
done.
fish is that then?
Hey?
It's a good fish.
I know, I thought it looked like a decent fish.
So grab your landing mat and I'll wet it.
Yep. Right guys, that's another nice pike. This one's a little bit bigger than the last one. I just hooked one briefly on the free line. We're going to get another bait on that. Just need to get this.
A couple of the ones in the handle.
Yeah. What do you reckon there? 7 or 8?
Maybe more.
Yeah, maybe not. Might even be 8 or 9, that might it? Nice to hear the alarms going off.
Climb on out. I might as well stay here to release it, hadn't I? I should probably want an underlooking.
Definitely. That's actually, I would have said a double figure.
Yeah, it's certainly getting that way if it's not one. Right, the forceps are just behind.
Right, as Matt's the best with the old handling, and I'm not as confident, and it's quite a lively one as this, with it being a summer pike, and it's a lovely fish actually, isn't it, Matt?
Yeah, it's a good fish that.
Definitely.
Got to be getting close to being a double.
It definitely put up a good fight. Matt's going to get it back.
Really nice pike that, probably near on a double. We're just giving it a good rest at the moment. Pike are a particularly delicate fish at the best of times, but it's summer months, especially in the rivers when we've had a bit of hot weather and not too much rain. The oxygen levels in the water, the dissolved oxygen levels, can be quite low, and pike, similar to barbel, you know, they do fight hard, and it can have an effect on them. You know, if you just release them without properly resting the fish, they could just go belly up and die. So yeah, we're just wanting to make sure that the fish is fully recovered and ready to go before we release it.
It did put up a good fight as well. That'd be an interesting hollow rod. So 3 more we need.
Yeah, pike number 2, well done, Ben. Right. Just turn this around a second.
We're definitely ready now.
Yeah, she's starting to kick a little bit.
And those rubber nets are brilliant for this, aren't they?
Yeah. There she goes.
Beautiful. Right guys, so Matt's just hooked into a little jack. Hopefully that'll make it into number 3. Boom shakalaka. So 4 barbel, 3 pike. And I'll be honest, this morning we did not think pike were on the agenda, did we?
No.
At all. So to have a virtual double figure and a sort of 6-pounder, I'm happy with that. And then Matt's obviously added to the tally with this little jack.
Very lively as this one.
I dare say there'll be some more about, mate.
Yeah, it's been strange. The silver fishing has been on and off, and I have a feeling
It's got this
because
is
of the likes of this little fella.
yeah.
Right.
The golden net.
Yeah, he's got his teeth well and truly stuck in there, hasn't he? Right, let's see if we can't unhook him. Right, that's him safely unhooked. So let's just see if he won't release them without damaging his teeth.
No, he's not having that, is he?
I'm going to need to just get my hand in and see if he can open his jaws for us. That's it. Just caught to one tooth, I think. There we go.
You see, and that's how it's done, guys. No, don't just rag at it. You know, like Matt says, the teeth are very, very delicate, aren't they, Matt?
Yeah.
Which is quite amazing, really, considering such an aggressive fish. They are quite a delicate fish, aren't they?
Let him rest a minute or two. He's still quite lively, this one. You tend to find that with the jacks. It's the bigger pike that
wear themselves out.
Take more time to recover.
Just watch your pole section, son, behind you.
Thank you.
Looks live and kicking already, doesn't it?
It does. I have to put the landing net handle back on here, I think, to get underneath him.
And there's a way. No problems.
So, fishing the whip. I've been fishing it reasonably shallow for most of the day. I did come with 2 separate rigs, or with the intention of fishing 2 separate rigs. One being a fairly shallow rig, sort of 2 to 3 foot, and the other one being a rig that I could literally kind of just trot along the bottom, which is about, well, depending whether the water levels are up or not with the tide, anywhere between 8 and 10 foot deep. The shallow line has produced more fish and more bites, but there have been predominantly a much smaller stamp of fish. I've caught plenty, but like I say, they are a really small stamp, the majority of them. It's been good fun, to be fair. It's still good sport. I still enjoy catching them. So essentially the approach I've been using is to just get a really small handful of maggots, throw them slightly upstream, lay the rig in and straighten it out so that my bait's dropping down with the rest of those free offerings, and then literally just kind of follow it through the swim. This particular rig is a really light float. It's a 1 gram float with just a few number 10s spread out down the line, just so that I get quite a natural fall for the bait. Obviously, with this being a rig for fishing up in the water, I'm not necessarily wanting to pin it down. Whereas the deep rig that I'm using, I've been using an Olivet, so that's about a 1 gram float that I've been using with about an 0.8 of a gram Olivet. As always, when you come on camera, that type of thing happens. That's literally the first one in probably 50 fish that's happened to. It's pinged off and tangled my rig. So yeah, just little and often in terms of the bait that's going in. You see, just laying the rig over the top and then letting it run through. So I'm following it through with the whip. Probably 4 foot behind. When I swing him in, I do always try and swing him in over the keep net, because like you just saw with that one, sometimes the slightest little bump and they drop off. I've probably had maybe 20 fish that, had I not done that today, that have dropped back in. So just in terms of the kit that I'm using, it's a Drennan Acolyte Pro whip. I've got to say I am pretty much a novice with it. It's about the only 3rd or 4th time that I've had it out, and I've not fished a whip since I was a kid, and I've not fished a whip on rivers previously to that. So it's fair to say I'm still learning. I have to sometimes remember that I'm not fishing a commercial, I'm not slapping for F1s. Having said that, some of these little chublet that are in here, they do sometimes compete for the feed, like they are a bunch of F1s. The fishing has been, well, difficult to say the least during the day today. It's been absolutely red hot, well over 25 degrees all day long. Sat here in black waterproofs is not the best. But to be fair, it's probably better than sitting here in shorts. I do burn quite easily, but probably what's worse than that is the insect bites, which you tend to get when you're on a river and when you kind of sat in, you know, the grass and the mud, etc. So yeah, I'd rather be too warm than get covered in those insect bites that itch like mad. So just checking the time, it's 4:15, so we've got an hour and 3/4 left. In terms of weight, I think bits I've probably got 7 or 8 pound, which is quite a lot of small fish that are making up the majority of that weight, but I have had a few bonus fish that probably add 5 pound onto the total weight, which you'll see when it comes to the weighing what fish we're talking about. So I mean, all in all, a fairly decent silver session. How we approached it was yesterday evening we fished for the barbel through the night. First thing this morning, kind of switched that a little bit, leaving one of the barbel rods out and then targeting some of the silvers using the whip. And then through the day we've had periods where pike have moved into the swims, so we've swapped the barbel rod out for pike rods, and we've managed to snaffle a few pike. I've had one pike and I've lost a really good one. The one that I lost, I hooked it actually just in front of my keep net. The fish that were in my keep net were clearly being spooked by a pike, so yeah, basically I dropped the bait in just down there. It hit it pretty hard and it set off straight for the trees on the opposite bank, and there was basically nothing that I could do to stop it with the gear that I was using. So yeah, it unfortunately got me snagged up on the trees on the far bank, and it ended up smashing me up, which was unfortunate because it probably would have been the biggest pike that I've had off this stretch. I've not had any massive fish off here, to be honest. You'll see on the video that Ben had a fairly nice one out, which was certainly around a double figure, and that's the biggest that I've seen come out of this stretch so far. We've had periods through the day where there's been quite a lot of debris coming downstream. Somebody's been doing a little bit of gardening, that's for sure, because we've had loads of cut grass coming down.
Right guys, so you've just seen Matt. It's still about 4:20. Just updating you on my peg. It's been hard. It's been, like Matt said, it's been rock hard today. Last night I didn't have any barbel, which we sort of assumed when Matt pulled that peg. It was always the favour for a barbel, but the thing is, it's a team thing, and as long as we've you know, we're catching them. That's the main thing. But I managed to string some nice pike together from here today. Lost a couple where they just didn't hook up. You know, maybe that would have nudged us toward. Matt lost a nice one, would have nudged us towards that 5, but at the moment we're on 3. But to be fair, I'm really happy with that. If you'd have asked me at this stage if we would be close on silvers, if not done it on silvers, 4 barbel and 3 pike from one stretch, I'd have took that all day on a natural venue all day. I think, you know, whether we do it or not, we've still got an hour and a half. Whether we do it or not, I think we can pat ourselves on the back quite happily. Today we thought it was going to be overcast, and it has been searing all day. Too hot, just too hot. I mean, we're talking 25 plus. Today it's just been baking, which is crap for barbel, crap for pike. And the silvers, when the pike turned up, just disappeared, and with the tide and everything, they've just not settled. Hence the little rig that I've got in front of me. Now I've got my little jigging rod, like you saw me earlier on with the spinner rod. Now I started off early morning, and I didn't want to do talking because everybody was asleep, and you know the light wasn't great, but just enough. And I absolutely bagged up before the sun came down. And nearly every fish that I've got in that net is purely from trotting that down, which is great because it's on my granddad's rod, and you know, means a lot to me. So that's really good. But I've had a few fish on. I fished a little feeder on this earlier on, but unfortunately got it snagged and lost it. And obviously I had the pike, but I've been just pulling the odd fish really all day, just really struggling to get hold of it. I spent a lot of time on the pike, of course, trying to get us those over the line. But what I've done is sat on this this little rig. It's isn't like an old school river rig really, just a little nice easy ledger rig. So the idea is with the SSG is to just bounce it slightly before it hits a certain point where it'll just obviously stay at that. It's a nice light rig, and we've just got 2 red maggots on it. I did have worms on it, but I ended up landing actually, but getting smashed up by a flatty of all things, which is pretty crazy. So I'm going to put a couple of maggots on this, and fingers crossed we'll have a couple. My other rod is my barbel rod, and that's got a ground bait feeder on it with a pellet. I've changed around baits because I've done nothing on maggot, nothing on worm. So what I'm doing is basically casting it upstream towards the tree, is where we normally get the barbel from. It's got some particles in there, and it's just another thing to try because obviously they've not been playing on the maggot. And I'm just hoping that there's a chance of a bonus fish. I just keep putting it in every sort of 15 minutes, and maybe we'll get one, maybe not. Maybe a big roach or a chub or something like that. Who knows? And we'll just wait and see with that. All I've literally been doing with that is chucking it out into the gap, letting it bounce around, and it's just sitting in front of this shelf, and that's where I'm picking them up from. And they're only little, but there are some bigger fish that I trotted through, and I had a lovely perch over about £1.5 and some nice roach, which we'll obviously look at when we pull the nets out. But yeah, it's been difficult. We've had to swap and change and move about rigs, and that's just what it is. It really has tested us. I think if we'd have had overcast today, it may have helped. I would have thought definitely if the temperature and the glare on the water wouldn't have been as bad, I think we would have definitely done better. But you know, that's fishing, and you know, this challenge is never going to be an easy one. So it has been really pushing us to think of different ways, you know, and utilising different things. And you know, that's why I'm using a little light jigging rod to ledger a little bit of maggot to try and get a few on, because they're just not taking it at all on the trotting. Trying to make it a little bit more static. There we go, there's a fish. Only a little one. There's another one to the list. And I'm netting everything, even out, no matter how tiny it is, because I'm high up here. No matter how tiny it is. All these fish count, these little ones, and it might look a bit daft. I don't believe what I've just got in the net here. I don't believe it. Matt, we've completed the barbel challenge. I've got a 2-ounce barbel. I'm not even joking. You need to come and see it. I'm going to have to show this to camera because ain't nobody going to believe us. We never said what size it had to be, did we? Boys and girls, we never said what size it had to be. That is barbel number 5. I cannot believe that is barbel number 5. I can't believe it. I'm in shock. It's a barbel.
It's a thing of beauty.
It's a barbel.
Well done, mate.
Oh, get that camera tilted down, son. I'm going to hold it up at next, I don't want to drop it. It's got a end of a little bit of controversy, but that is an absolute 100% barbel, isn't it?
It most certainly is.
And
we'll zoom in on here.
There's a time, I can't believe that. If you're ever going to do it. I don't believe it.
Beautiful, that. Well done.
It is. In fact, I'm just gonna nip the camera off 2 seconds because I've got to have a photo with that to win the 5. Right, guys, I make it bang on 6 o'clock, and that were had.
It's been an absolute grueler. I've never been so hot fishing in all my life.
Let's be honest, right, when we set this, there were 2 overcast days, weren't there? We turned up yesterday, it were overcast, it were buzzing, wasn't it? Yeah. But then today, as soon as we woke up, it was freezing because of obviously no clouds, and then that's it, it's just burned us alive all day.
Yeah, we had glorious sunshine really from about 9 o'clock this morning, and probably from about 11 o'clock onwards it's been absolutely
searing, hasn't it?
Yeah, searing hot and terrible fishing.
I mean, we thought that there's no chance of pike this morning, didn't we? Yeah. We were like, it's red hot, there's just no chance. Yeah. I were obviously talking to Matt, heard my keep net getting rattled. You shouted to me, go and have a look. I seen a pike coming in and out. We pretty much hooked that straight away, didn't we?
Yeah. What time would that have been?
10.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, and then I had another one reasonably about an hour later, and then you had one over here. Unfortunately, we lost one, and we had another couple. Both had another couple of pullouts. But that's fishing. Look at the way you're fishing. Yeah. I mean, we did well to get them out.
Yeah.
So on that part, we had 3. So I think that's a valiant effort in this weather. It is absolutely steaming. Yeah. Not pike weather, but there were good fish as well. All of them, all of them. And what you had were a really good fish. Yeah. So I'm happy with that. Take us through the barbel, son.
Yeah. So last night were a very disturbed night to say the least. Loads of bites. I lost a couple of really good fish during the night. The first one, I was just too slow to get to it. It had probably stripped maybe 20-30 yards of line off before I actually got to the rod and lifted into it. The river that we're fishing on, I mean, just here, it's like 8 metres wide. You've got overhanging trees at one side. Down the other side, you've got kind of posts that's coming out. There's an overhanging bush. It's snaggy, you know, that's the top and bottom of it, and you do need to be onto your rods quickly to make sure that they're not getting into them snags. So that first one was probably my error more than anything. Made sure that wasn't going to happen with any of the others. Repositioned myself literally right next to the rods, and probably an hour or so later hooked into another nice fish, and unfortunately with that one took me into the trees. So yeah, lost a couple of good fish. I ended up with 4 barbel, so yeah, happy with that effort.
Yeah, so we're going to say there were £30 plus a barbel there, and then 4 easy.
Yeah, they were all a decent stamp of fish.
But as you know, we did it.
We did it.
With a 2 ounce barbel. Because we did say it were 5 barbel, it didn't matter how big. And we took photos, which we'll insert now, so you can see if you wanted a close up. It was definitely a barbel, no gudgeons on order. Yeah, I mean, it's just one of them, innit? Complete luck.
And to be fair, trying to catch a barbel of that size is rock hard.
Yeah.
You never really come across them. You know, they're a rarity.
And now we're just ledgering, as you saw. There's this little SSG shot with a little bit of maggot, because the bites were rock hard with silvers. You just couldn't pin them down. Matt obviously attacked silvers across with the whip, as we saw, and managed to string some together, but still rock hard. We had early morning, you put a nice bream, a nice chub and some lovely roach in there. Yep. So we're hoping that's going to bump the weight up. I had early morning a nice few perch and some nice roach, and then just bits between us. So we really don't know, do we?
No, it's going to be close.
Like really close. This might be almost one of those I don't believe you close moments, but we genuinely have no idea. So we'll do it in real time.
Yeah.
And
hand on heart, I reckon we're still probably a pound short. That's what I think.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. But I'll take £19. I'll take £15 if we've got £15. To be honest, with how hard today's been. If today were like this morning, because they were solid on it this morning, then it just went bang. As soon as the sun came out, just stopped dead.
Yeah, it killed it.
Just absolutely killed it. And we didn't overfeed. We were just feeding it steady. We
had a period as well during the afternoon. So I don't know if anybody would know this particular stretch, but it is tidal, and it comes up. Now, today we've probably seen it up and down around 2 foot.
Yeah.
And it were around lunchtime when it came up to its highest point. And just here on this particular stretch, when it does get to its highest point, the flow of the water actually changes direction for a while. Maybe only 5 minutes or so, but it actually flows upstream for a little while, and then that changes and it flows back downstream again. But that period for me were just a complete waste of time.
Oh, it was just it was impossible. We just sat and had breakfast, didn't we, and just doing nothing we could do. And you know, that's 24-hour challenges, as you all know. There's parts of days when you're fishing 10 till 12 o'clock sometimes it goes a bit flat, and I mean, like Matt says, he couldn't buy a bite. What we'll do is we'll get these nets out. What we're going to do is put it into a sling over here and then take it over to my pegs. We've got a bit more space, so the rod's out here, and then we can get it all weighed and see if we do 2 out of 3 or 1 out of 3. But regardless, mate, you fished superb today, mate. Considering it is, because it's been rock hard, and like you say, we do challenge genuinely. If you want to do it, we challenge anyone to take it on, because the amount of gear we've had to bring to cover everything, and we still forgot some feeder rods and stuff, didn't we? But just to literally, we had to come up with methods, didn't we, to try and catch, like Matt Hayes chuffing on a jigger. Oh, it's just mental. Right, we're going to get them out, and we're going to get them weighed, and we'll stop this so we can get ourselves sorted first. Right guys, so just going to turn on the old scales, and they're zeroed. Hopefully you can see those zeroed out. So Matt's going to get his net of hopefully a lot of fish, because he needs to be more than me, because I know I ain't got absolutely tons. We can't afford to drop a fish here. Oh, that's not grim, that's grim, boys. In the face. Where there's minnows in there. Get them minnows in. Are we going to wait till the other side, or do you want to know what you've got?
I don't mind, you can do them all if you want.
You don't want to see what you've got?
It's up to you.
They definitely all want to see what you've got, just so they can give me hassle. So you've got £13.3. 13.3. I'll be honest, I'm not optimistic. Let's get around to my peg and see how many we've done. Right guys, so Matt's going to get mine out. I'll be honest, I don't think we've done it here. There's no way £7 in there. Like in here, Matt's had a lovely bream and a lovely chub, and that's really bumped the weight up. I ain't got that. I might have £6 tops. Not even that, I don't think. Is it, everybody?
That's them all.
Yeah, clipper on, mate. I'm going to go with £16. Oh, we're not far off, you know. £18. £18.7, show the camera. Oh, that's so close. We weren't going to mention it.
So close, but yet so far.
It's just the amount. I'll be honest. We must have caught £20 today. There's a load that you bounced out your net or out at thing. Definitely hooked £20 worth of fish. I'll hold that. You get that bream held up and that chub, because that's not in that perch. So Matt's had this lovely bream. Not that Matt ever thinks a bream's lovely, but lovely bream. I had that nice whopping perch. It's a lovely perch, and then you had a big old chub in there, didn't you? And a lovely chub. Lovely chubbly. Let's get them all back. Right guys, so £18.7. I'm happy with that, mate.
Yeah.
I'd have been happy with 15 if I'm honest. Yeah. Like I said, if we'd have had a day overcast, I think we'd have smashed them silvers. Well, we would have done.
Yeah. Given weather conditions, I'm pleased with that weight. I don't think we could have really done anything much different to put many more in the net.
No, we tried everything. Mm-hmm. We fished everything, every method, every way. I'm happy considering how hard of a challenge that. When you did come across and tell me it, I thought, bloody hell, that's going to be rock hard. And it was rock hard. I honestly, get your mates together, take two with you and get a good try it, because it's a really good challenge.
I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
This afternoon kind of felt a little bit like we were in a match, we were close to winning it,
yeah,
and we needed to keep going, because the reality was we knew at that point that we were close on silvers. We knew for most afternoon that we just needed that one more barbel to tick the barbel off, and then to find 2 pike. And we had probably 4 hours or so at that. Yeah, and like I said, we probably need to find an extra 3-pounder fish at that stage. That extra barbel and then 2 pike, and it seemed doable.
Yeah, it wasn't unachievable. I mean, we lost 3 pike between us, so 2 of them, and you'd done that.
Yeah,
it's just how it is, isn't it? That's fishing. If it were called catching, it's not. It's called fishing, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
And for me, I used it as obviously spending time with yourself, honouring Mark's memory, which were a big thing for both of us, especially yourself, who's known him longer than me, and to do them on here. Sort of that made it right, didn't it?
It did. Yeah, it were particularly fitting that we did it here. I know that Mark will be up there watching this on YouTube. Yeah, thrilled to bits about it.
Yeah, well, yeah.
So yeah, it's all good. And the challenge might have beaten us this time, but who knows? Maybe next time we'll do the challenge, eh?
Well, the thing is, mate, the way we do the challenges, we don't set them out to win, for them to be easy. Like, if you set easy challenges, it ain't a challenge, is it?
Not a challenge, no.
So we actively wanted to set something that on a natural venue, almost undoable. And it was. It wasn't it? We were very close. £1.50 off in silvers. It's no, is it? It's one good fish.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've really enjoyed it, and it makes it better with obviously Matt being here, and he obviously made butties as well for breakfast and nearly set stove on fire, of course. But apart from that, it were all good, and we definitely want to go home, and we definitely want to get out of these, because it's very, very wet inside these from the heat. But thank you very much for watching. If you want to join us on a Facebook group at Angling For You, great set of members on there. It's no banter in it. It's brilliant. You can ask questions. It's just what we want it to be, innit?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and if you want to set yourselves a challenge at any point to either beat me or Ben in some of our members' days, have a look on the group, have a look at the event section.
Absolutely.
We've always got stuff in the pipeline. If you've got any suggestions for future members' days, let us know, and if we can make it happen, we will.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we're within reason, we're willing to travel. There's lots of venues around the country that we've not done. So yeah, definitely. And if you go onto YouTube and look at his other playlists, there's lots of other stuff for you to see. Loads of other challenge videos, and there's more to come. We've got other stuff planned. So you know, have a look, like, share and subscribe. Until the next one, guys, thanks very much for watching. Tight lines.
Tight lines.